Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video we are going to talk about how we could copy a blob from one container to another container within the Azure storage account using Azure Data Factory. So we'll actually use the Azure Data Factory to orchestrate this and copy one of the blobs, which is just like a simple file like a CSV or text or Excel from one container to the another container. So let's see how we could actually do it practically within Azure Data Factory. So friends, let's see how we can copy one blob from one container to the another container with the help of Azure Data Factory within a Azure storage account. So if you have seen my previous video, I have a storage account, RKV storage account. I have an import container where I have one file, and I have another container named as output, which doesn't contain any file. And what we need is we need to copy this particular file from import, that is DPT Oracle CSV, to the output container. So let's go back to the RKV Data Factory. That's my instance of the Data Factory. If I go on to the home, I'm just going to use this ingest to actually copy data at a scale once or on a schedule. So I'll use that. Now it says built-in copy task or meta-driven copy task. I'm just going to use this and I'm going to run now. Now when I press next, so it says all source type. So I just want to connect with an Azure storage blob. So I already created a linked storage service. If you don't know how to create a linked service, you could watch my part 3 where I've explained how to create a linked service as well as a data set based upon that. So let me select this, which looks fine. And then it gives me certain other options to kind of go through. So it says file or folder. If the identity you want to use the data store only has a permission, like certain aspects it specify. So what I want is I could do a browse and then go on to my import, and I'll select this particular file, which is my CSV file. So this actually specifies import is my container, and then the file name which is present over there, that's what I want to pick it up. Now I move on to the next, and when I move on to the next, it actually tells me certain information about that particular file if I want to preview the data. So yes, I have 4 records in that. This is the schema, this is the preview, which looks fine to me, and then I can just close this. So this is a comma separated file. My first row is definitely a header if you want to skip certain line count or escape characters or anything. So I'm just keeping it as blank. I go on to the next, and then I have to specify the destination data store, right? Now destination is also Azure storage blob. The connection is going to be based upon my link storage service, and then the folder path, right? So now I could just specify the browse, and then I want to put it into the output. I'll select that, and then what kind of a file name you want to create. So let's say I want to keep it as dpt csv, and copy behavior, I just want to use the same one. I'm not gonna change it. I go on to the next. So once you go on to the next, it actually tells the file format what you want. We'll just add header to the file. So the same way we want that. Advanced options are there, escape character, code character. I just want to keep that way. And then I just want to go on to the next. Now it says what task name you want to give it to that. So let's say I'll say this is task copy blob from storage container, something like this. Copy blob from storage container. You could give the task description, data consistency validation. When selecting this option, copy activity will do additional data consistency verification, but right now we are just copying the complete file over there. Fault tolerance or logging, you want to keep out a log out there. And this is very important, enable staging. This is a temporary storage or a temporary workaround for Azure Data Factory once it does the processing from a source to a destination. If you don't do that, it would actually fail it out. So please enable this, enable staging. Once you do the enable staging, it needs a storage account. So I'll just supply that linked service for that storage account. And then I could specify the browse. And let's say if I want to keep it in, let's say, import folder. Okay, so it would use that import folder to kind of do that temporary storage or temporary manipulation or anything. So that's what I'm using. Now I'll say next, and then it gives you a summary out here. You are running pipeline to copy data from Azure blob storage to another blob storage, which looks fine. This is my task name. This is my connection name. The data set is this one. That's the source data set. So I could edit it. So I can say data set, let's say dpt storage dpt csv file. So that's the something like this csv, and then I can, that looks fine. First row as header, and I could also specify the destination. So the destination data set is this is my destination. So let's say this is my data set, which is my source data set, source storage department csv, and this I could name it as ds destination storage department csv. So I just want to name it like that so that it's more appropriate and relevant, and then everything looks fine to me. I say next, and then it starts the trigger immediately. It does the validations and other steps, and it would then try to copy that particular blob from one storage, that is import, to the output one. So it may take a little bit of a time, but let's see. And yep, it has started off validating, creating data sets, creating pipelines, and running that pipeline. So it has run all that stuff. I could just finish that off. Now once you finish, you would always see that you would create data sets out here which are going to be there, and then you would also create a pipeline which we specify. So that's what it creates, right? And then if we just go back to the I have Azure Storage Explorer, I just refresh that. So when I refresh it within the Azure Storage account, I would just go and refresh it. It's taking a little bit of a time to refresh that, and we could see whether that particular file is there or not. So within the blob containers, okay, so import was the one which is definitely there. So if you could just see, open, and then yes, this is there. So if I click on the output, and then if I just, let's say, I don't have any refresh option out here. Oh yeah, there it is. So you refresh that. So you see a department.csv file is here, which is refreshed. And then you could see this is the same file which was copied from that particular container to the another container. So now even if you want to verify from the portal, you could just see, go to your storage account. The import definitely had this file. This is the temporary staging which we clicked it around because ADF needs to store somewhere. So you could remove this afterwards. And this is the source file. So go back, and then within the output, so this is the file that has been copied. So now this is how you could copy the blob from one container to another with the help of Azure Data Factory. It's just kind of a copying activity. We learned how to use those linked services and create those data sets. So I'll be coming up with more videos, friends. So please stay tuned, and thank you for subscribing. If you have not already subscribed it, please do subscribe it. Thank you and have a good one.